am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here. For the day done, you are gonna love over yourself.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Jamaican herbs and spices add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Good afternoon. Let's fix our cameras as usual. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a blessed day, wonderful day. Yes, we are about to have a very good discussion, not a very long one, but an interesting discussion with a member of the GFF Technical Committee. His name is Mr. Rudolph Speid, and we'll be speaking to him briefly concerning an article that has been in the newspapers for a while. It is in the Jamaica Gleaner, kind of speaking to the issue of the firing of Coach Theodore Tupper Whitmore. Specifically, the article is covering and dealing with the constitutionality of the firing. But before we get into that and read the article to you, let me say a big thank you to the sponsors of this video, Trick Nick. Trick Nick is a Jamaican-owned and operated company that in Canada, they use authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. And they're offering 25% discount on all their products. All you have to do is shop at www.tricknick.ca and use the code I am sure sports. And if you do that, you will get your 25% discount. So if you have not yet, please go ahead and do so. Go ahead and shop. They have a lot of giveaways. Even right now, they are giving away a recipe book. When you purchase your items there, they will give you a recipe book, pens, and other merch. So go and support them. Right now, this will not be a long video because the mighty Arsenal will be playing at 3, and that ain't gonna miss me. Also want you to know, just give you an update on the schoolboy football game that is going on between McGrath High and Cornwall College. At halftime, Cornwall College, they are leading that one by a goal to 0. So Cornwall College leading McGrath High by a goal to nil. Cornwall win this game. They keep themselves in contention for a spot in the semifinals of the DaCosta Cup, but also give themselves a chance of qualifying for the Ben Francis Cup if they fail to qualify for the DaCosta Cup. All right. And so, if there are any further updates, I will give you those during this video. For all of you who want to be a part of the work of the unsung ones, that's the association. Well, Cornwall up by 2 now. There you go. The association that helps with the former reggae boys. What we will do is I will be talking to Michael Toller later today so he can give you that information. If you want to give towards the Trenchstone Rock International Foundation that is having a treat this Saturday, in fact, on the 18th in Trenchtown, Rima, and its environs, I will be able to share with you some information. Like I said, they have a website that you can go to, and there's a PayPal account that you can make your contribution to. All right. And I will also send the information to you if you so desire to contribute there. Want to say big up to Michael Garden in here, Fresh God, and the coach's desk, Coach Minzy. Good to see you, Omar. Also good to see you being a part of this. So let me just read for you, this article. Don't know if you have seen it. And this is from the Jamaica Gleaner, one of the major tabloids here in Jamaica. It says Jamaica Football Federation, the GFF director, Danny Beckford, is questioning the sacking of Jamaica's senior men's national team head coach, Theodore Tapper Whitmore. Beckford said the JFF board is responsible for making that determination, and the board of directors has not met since a technical committee made a recommendation for Whitmore's removal as Reggae Boys head coach. So he's saying it is the board of directors who the technical committee respond to. And since the technical committee has made a decision or made a recommendation to have Whitmore fired, the board is made up of all the parish presidents and the executive committee of the GFF. All right. So he asks a question. The article goes on. Who fired Tapper Whitmore? Said Beckford. As far as I know, it is the boards. It is the board that has hiring and firing responsibility. Mr. Beckford continued to say, I know we have a board meeting scheduled for the 18th, so I don't know when the board took a decision, he said. Right now, we are waiting on a meeting on the 18th. Then we can elucidate our point. Efforts to get a response from President of the GFF, Michael Ricketts, and its General Secretary, Dalton Wint, were unsuccessful, as calls to their phone went unanswered. Questions relating to the issue were also sent to Ricketts' phone, but none of those messages were met with a response. On Thursday last, the GFF sent out a press release advising that Whitmore had been relieved of his duties as head coach with immediate effect. The GFF release also stated that the team's assistant coach, Paul Hall, would fill the role of head coach on an interim basis through to the end of the current CONCACAF World Cup qualifying campaign for Qatar 2022. The decision to end Whitmore's tenure has been up for the GFF board's approval following a recommendation by a vote of 5-2 of the GFF's technical committee. This came after Jamaica's 1-1 draw with the United States at the National Stadium on the 16th of November. There are mixed views on the technical committee's position among the GFF board of directors. It says, have no difficulty. The technical committee is made up of some bright people. They are on the ground, have a full grasp of the issues, and should be empowered and be held accountable, said Wayne Thompson, St. Thomas FA president, basically saying that he is in agreement. All right. Now, Wayne Shaw, President Kingston and St. Andrew FA, has a different view. The team is gelling now. I don't think we should have made the change. I think it's the wrong time, said Shaw. I don't agree with the move at this time. It's going to be difficult now. You're bringing in a new coach. It's going to be hard. According to the JFF statutes, the technical committee's position must be ratified by the JFF board. And Beckford explained that since that process was not followed, the decision to now part company with Whitmore is unconstitutional. Right? There has to be a redo of the decision according to the statutes he challenged. If it was a board decision, couple board members were not privy to that process. So something is fundamentally wrong about what has been done and how it has been done. Beckford reasoned. This is Danny Beckford, president of the St. Anne Football Association. If it's the management committee who did that, they have no authority. So the management committee is the executive, excluding the board members. All right? The final decision has to be made via the members of the board of the JFF, he reaffirmed. Consequently, Beckford said the JFF's decision to remove Whitmore at this point is illegal. Says, from my standpoint, Tapa Whitmore has not been fired by the board of the JFF, he said. If the board had a meeting, they left out certain people, so that decision would not be legal. The outspoken Beckford noted that the JFF has been operating in this manner by making decisions in an unconstitutional way, and it must be brought to an end. Of course, a little patwa chips in. All know, no one has called to say that we made a decision. I only heard it in the media. I wasn't a part of the decision making as a member of the board, said Beckford, who has been the president of the St. Anne Football Association and a JFF director for 18 years running. It seems they are making these decisions, and after the event, they want board members to rubber stamp it, he said. Board members have been rubber stamping some foolish decisions, Beckford continued. I think this is supposed to be the last of this. After we have this meeting, we should decide that it should never happen again. All right. Whoa. Very, very interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, what I want to speak to Mr. Speid about is really just to find out about the constitutionality, because why is this important? Because I don't think the decision is going to be reversed. Even if it were done wrong, I think the decision is going to remain. There is no way that Whitmore is going to be the coach again. It's not reversing. However, if according to the article or Mr. Beckford, it is unconstitutional and it is illegal, then you could see lawsuits. If it is deemed unconstitutional and illegal, though the decision will not be reversed, even if the board were to meet, I don't think there is a reversing of this decision. All right, you already hear that one person is in agreement with it. The St. Thomas president, the CASAFA president is not in agreement. So you'd probably get to a point where even if it goes to a vote, more people would have supported the decision than who don't support the decision. So it's not going to change the fact that Paul Hall is the coach and Whitmore has been fired. The big issue is there any legal right footing for Coach Theodore Whitmore to bring a lawsuit against the JFF? We want to talk to Mr. Speid on these matter to hear what he says, because the technical committee is a policy-based committee. So if it is a policy-based committee, he should understand what the Constitution is, or what is the policy concerning this. So let's see if we can get this going. I will say, people, that I did ask Mr. Beckford to come on the program to speak, and he stated that he has this meeting on Saturday, which is the 18th, and he would not be able to speak until after that. I guess he's, whatever cards he has in terms of the Constitution and what articles of the Constitution, he probably want to save that for the meeting. But I did offer him an invitation to come and speak on the matter. Yeah. One of the issues I have with the article is that it says, which is what he said. He said that the board has been rubber stamping decision by the executive arm. And I'm saying that if, according to you, all of these unconstitutional things, it says, listen to this. It seems they are making these decisions, which is suggesting that this is not the first, right? Just listen to the wording, and this is an actual quote. It says, it seems they are making these decisions, and after the event, they want board members to rubber stamp it. All right, he said. And he says this, board members, and of course, if I were not a part of this rubber stamping, quote unquote rubber stamping, I would say board members, excluding me. That's what I would have said. Now it says board members have been rubber stamping some foolish decisions. Beckford continued. Now, if he's saying that as a board, is he saying that as a board member, I have been a part of this of rubber stamping some foolish decisions? What are those decisions that are foolish? Who are the board members that have been rubber stamping these things, and who have been, against some of these things? We need to know these things. And he says, I think this is supposed to be the last of this. After we have this meeting, we should decide that it should never happen again. So again, if my whole take at the end of this article is that I don't think he's expecting a reversing of the decision. It is asking for an inclusion of the board, which would mean then you have rubber stamp on next thing if you think it is unconstitutional. So I'm not going to even, I don't want to dive into that part of the whole thing. But the question is, what does this say of the situation, though, from a legal perspective? Is there the possibility of any kind of lawsuit? And what would that look like? Is the value, the cost to do a lawsuit equivalent to the amount of money that will be demanded? Let me hear. And now is the time he feels like making a stand. You see what I mean? You just feel like, okay, if you say that all of these times there have been unconstitutional decisions, and all of those decisions have been rubber stamped by the board. No, there are very telling things that we could dissect. I'm going to do this until Mr. Speid comes on. Number one is that this is a person who has been in as a board member for 18 years. 18 years. 18 years. All right? Some of you weren't probably even born then. All right? So in 18 years of your leadership, have you been rubber stamping stuff? And what is the position of the other parish presidents? And this is why I keep telling people, and I tell you that systematically, this is what I was sharing yesterday. Too often we change persons without fixing systems, only to find ourselves in the same problem. And we have to challenge our systems more as a people, because it is our systems that need to change. Our systems are so designed that they breed corruption. They produce corruption. And so good people become corrupt because systems are corrupted. The systems that operate to make our nation function at almost every level, from church to school to education to sports to entertainment to governance, the systems are so corrupt. Media, everything altogether so corrupt that sometimes no matter who you put in the positions, it makes no sense. So we have accounts committees and integrity committees and all of these committees, but the systems are so corrupt that even the watchdog, the people in these committees end up looking like they're part of the corruption. Systems needs to be fixed. I hope you're understanding my position even better from yesterday. This is a systematic problem. Here it is that though this may be good intention, a person has been in a position for 18 years. And after 18 years is when you're going to make a decision to say you need to stop rubber stamping stuff. I'm telling you, it is not an easy road. Maybe I saw it go, Claudine. I do something that right because I'm 18 years. Well, you know, okay. Here you go, fresh God. Man is man. He's not here to answer these questions. I believe you should have them for when he forward on the program. Okay, well, I'm going to because he said, like I said, I did reach out to Mr. Beckford. He said he didn't want to come on here. I can try to reach out to him. Can try to reach out to him again. I'm still waiting on Mr. Speid to come on. He did promise me that he would be on at 2. Here you go, Claudia. Like if the entire thing is messed up, then the entire thing needs to be fixed. Like, you know, you have a house that is falling apart and you paint it. It looks good, but after a while, when the paint goes away, you're going to see the real state of the house. That is why you can't throw marl into pothole and think like when rain comes, it's going to stay. The pothole reopens. And the whole road, I told you that we need to create a brand. I said it recently. We need to create a brand new road. We just don't need to use this road. You know, they didn't try to fix the road through the gorge from Kingston from Kingston to the north coast. No, they created a brand new highway. I think systematically that's what we need. A brand new system. Yeah, yeah, not be reversed. Thank you, Everton. This is a procedural matter. You are correct that the decision will not be reversed. Additionally, I see very little ground for a lawsuit from Tupper since there was an ample grounds for his dismissal. This is what I need to hear because I'm asking, what were the grounds for his dismissal? Because these are the things that we need to find out. And did he agree for the settlement? Because if you're going to be fired before your contract ends, did you accept what was offered to you? And if you accept what was offered to you, can you then raise a lawsuit that says you should have gotten more when you accepted what was offered to you? Just give me a sec, people. Trying to make a very important phone call. All right, so we're going to call, but Mr. Beckford is going to speak to us. Hopefully, Mr. Speid will come on and conclude this part. But Mr. Beckford is going to speak to us because I want to be fair to him. I want him to explain because I don't understand. Because like I think Everton said it before, it's not going to reverse it. It's a procedural matter. And because remember, there can be more than one ways to do the right thing. There is not one way to do the right thing. And so though it was not done that way, was it really done wrong? Because there can be 3 different procedures to come to a final decision on a matter. And all 3 decisions are right. And that is why I want to know what part of the Constitution speaks to it. All right, let me take Richard. Richard said, man is man. To what extent do you think you are misunderstood? Do you see yourself as a maverick more than a conservative? You're tackling ticklish topics like Tupper. Hey, people, this is a poet. You're tackling ticklish topics like Tupper. That's a very, very, very good one. You're, I like that. I should have some quotes from the show, and they should be a quote. No, listen. The truth is that I believe that everyone must be given an opportunity to rightfully express their position, and then we make a decision. It's never wise to make a decision by listening to one source of information when several parties are involved, because there's always more. And I think sometimes we need to take time to get all the information before we make a conclusive decision on what is right or wrong. And what I try to do is to give us perspective. There's one perspective that you'll hear. The predominant perspective is, like I was saying, yes, tap out Paul Algon. And nothing is wrong with that. But there are other issues that we need to look at. And it is important that we understand those issues so that we can look at the overall structure and systems associated with the sports of football. Because that's the only way we're going to bring change. We can't be short-sighted in our outlook, in our vision, in our thinking. We can't be. Right? Marlon says, but do the GFF ever explain why they sack head coach? And this is what I'm saying, that this is where now we need to what. So when you ask the question, and again we are waiting. We have 2 persons promised to come on. We are waiting on them. That is the issue? On what merit? And if it is result based, does it say that in the Constitution? And if the coach has settled, should this even be a matter? Should this be even a matter for a meeting? Because having a meeting doesn't mean that the meeting was set up to discuss the coach. It may be one of the regular board members meeting that they have every quarter or every Wednesday. It just so happened that this has happened at this time. Claudine says, my solution is the entire body of the JFF need to resign, even the roaches and the fresh, don't call fresh naming this, fresh people who were never part of the JFF goes in with new laws and regulation. Claudine, I think you should take out fresh name, because I don't want anybody to think you're talking about fresh God. Although you use only one H. Everton Jackson says, I am sure there were performance requirements in Tapa's contract. The JFF technical committee had to have had a basis on which they made the recommendation for his dismissal. Very important point. And if those bases were what they fired him on, and they are there and evident, what then is the purpose of this? And so you can see, so if that were done in Everton, which I'm in total agreement, there must have been some basis. Now, if the board that is supposed to govern, understand this, just imagine with me, there's a policy by one of our political parties, and they make a decision, and then a part of that party is against the same decision. It affects the whole thing, which is the issue we're having. So if you have no agreement there, then what do you expect going to happen? You remember earlier I did some videos about this, and I said, listen, man, if the top is divided, then the rest of the whole thing going to be divided. You remember I did the whole thing months ago. I did the whole thing about the need for unity. And if at the board level there is no unity, then you expect unity to be amongst the coaching staff. You expect unity to be amongst the players. So when we speak about the divide between local born and overseas born, for example, there's a bigger issue. There's a bigger issue because within the body that is supposed to unify the people, they themselves have divisions. See the picture, people. It's a system that needs to be fixed. It's just like if the teaching staff at a school is divided, how then did you expect the student to operate in unity in that same school? So what we're seeing is a ripple effect from the top flowing down. And so it is the systems. So the people, you see, people follow leaders to an extent we may not think we are, but we also take on what is happening at the top. And so again, it is flowing from the top. So now you realize that at the core of the football, there is a level of disunity. And this present situation is showing you that at least at the board level, there have been disagreements that have led to quote unquote rubber stamping. And so here's what you see at the selection of player level, there have been, I'm going to say to you, listen to my reasoning. At the selection of the team level, there has been the same division that has led to rubber stamping of some things. Because if it is at the top, it's going to be in every other area of the organization or the organizing body or the organizing federation. And therein lies our problem. Don't know how this is going to work because I'm here waiting on my guest. Don't like to be late. People, this is very tough. You know that. You know what I think my guests are going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do at that point. Let me check the time. He says 10 minutes, so we have around 3 minutes left, and then he will. I'll meet by the call. Here's the problem I'm going to have, people. That I suspect that when they come on, it is time for me to watch my Arsenal team, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Fresh God is a very, very effective president. All right. All right. All right. Big up yourself. Big up Balakar. You know, I'm one of those persons who he gets a hard time on the platforms, but he believes, you know, in what he believes. The best players should represent the country, even if all of them is from the UK. Nobody, I, I don't know if anybody disagree that the best players should always um represent Jamaica. At, like it will be foolhardy for anyone to believe that the best Jamaicans should not play for Jamaica. The best Jamaicans should always play for Jamaica. The best Jamaicans should always play for Jamaica in netball, in football, in cricket, and in track and the best Jamaicans should always represent Jamaica. That's not even like that is not even an issue. It's not even an issue. Like that's like baby talk. Baby talk. So you know, I'm trying to elevate my whole thinking and knowledge. I cannot read so many books to talk about the best people playing a sport for. I, like I couldn't educate myself to come and sit down and argue should best people play. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I think I'm above that level of reasoning. Yeah. So if he agreed to this is what I need, like a legal mind to help me with. If he agreed to the severance before he was sacked, this says he was agreeable to his dismissal. That made the board decision unnecessary. That's what I'm saying. If the man, I'll say, okay, that's what you're giving me, and he walked away. How then is the board raising an issue if the man took it and walked away? It's just like, just think about it this way. There's a union, right? So I fire one of my staff. I said to my staff, listen, I'm going to pay you $10 million in severance. They say, whoa, all right, let me take that. Sign off on the document, and they walk away. Then the union comes and says, it was wrongful dismissal, but the person accepted that they're supposed to be dismissed, and they agreed to what I was giving them. Like, what is the legal framework that gives that person now some sort of right to then raise a lawsuit in that context? Unless they have not agreed, unless no payment has been made, unless it has been a dismissal and there's no signed document and the person has not, which would not make any sense, because if you fire me, I'm going to want all that I'm supposed to get at that moment. Management, your school can win the Costa Cup. Oh, we're not talking about the Costa Cup. Yeah, man, and I think any of the schools in it, I think Dintil can win it, Clarendon can win it, Garvey Massey can win it, Stets, any of the schools who are in it can win it. But I gave Mannings as much chance as any of the other teams, right? But any school can win it, man. Any school can win it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I don't like having those conversations. You understand? There have been enough of those conversations about best players. Yeah. We need to move away from that level of conversation. All right. All right. So let me see if I can, just give me a sec. I'm going to try and see if I can get back. All right, there is no response, so we continue to it. But that is my thing, you know. At the end of the day, and that's what I'd love to know. I'd love to know if there was an agreed settlement between the federation and the last coach. And if there's an agreed settlement, then what is that amount? There you go. If it can't stand, that house cannot stand. So let me say to you again, the reason why there is this division with where people are born is because at the core of our football, at the core of the leadership, there is no unity. And you're right, Christopher Carroll. A house divided by itself is going to fall. And we have to, like I said, we have to elevate our discussion. I've told you know, I've told one of my friends who is a vlogger, I've told him this, that listen, you know what? We need to stop fueling that. You know, certain things, like there are certain comments that if you respond to them, you make them keep going. So the truth is, this is not being fueled by the players. It is fueled by people who always discuss it. People are always discussing it. Leave it alone and it becomes a non-issue. It is so trivial that if it is left alone, it will not be a problem. It is a problem because no matter what forum persons are on, we get back to it. Like, no matter what you're talking about, if you're talking about schoolboy football, we begin to compare schoolboy football with a player in England. And until you decide to not discuss it, you're going to keep having this problem. Just choose, just make up in your mind that, listen, I'm not going to discuss this issue. I'm not going to discuss this issue. And I guarantee you, you won't hear it come up. And you'll realize it was never a factor. It was never a factor. The only reason why it has gotten the leverage that it has gotten, it is because you keep talking about it. I remember President Obama, they were talking about his whole social media platform early in his presidency, thinking his first term, and they were talking about some of the things that people were saying and why can't he respond and why hasn't he responded. He says, I remember in the interview, he said, "You know me, right? I'm the president of the United States and my name. All right. Do you know the person?" He says, "No." He says, "If I begin to respond to that person becomes known." Hear me? He said, President Obama said, if he responded to that person who was criticizing him on social media and saying stuff, then you would begin to know the person. Up to now, you and I don't know who he was speaking to because he never responded. As the president, if he responded, you'd have known. And let me say this to you. Choose not to have some conversations and you will see that they don't matter. If you are intelligent and smart, elevate the level of your conversations and your discussions. Reason from not just your heart space, but from your head space. Going to try and reach out to friend again. I think he got the contract already. I don't want to believe so. I don't want to believe that he has it already. So kudos to him. Kudos to him. I hope he makes much of this and improve his skill. And yeah, I mean, it's always good. I'm very happy when Jamaican players, I mean, get this opportunity. I mean, wherever they are, I want to see some of the Jamaicans playing, even in England, move on to bigger clubs. Those in the Championship move to Premier League clubs. Those at Premier League clubs get to the bigger Premier League clubs. I'd love to see East and Pinnock, for example, at one of the the top 4 teams or a bigger team in Europe than Brentford. I want to see that. I want to see, because I think it will only make Jamaica's football better if we have when you begin to see in the Champions League. Can you imagine in the Champions League you see 6-7 Jamaicans in there playing? When you're looking at the squad list, you see a Jamaican in the starting 11 are coming on. I think that would be a good thing for our football. So whether it is Junior Fleming or it is Ethan Pinnock, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Jamaican footballers excelling and making it big time, because it not just helps them, it also encourage other youngsters to want to play the sport. Go ahead, people. This is Mr. Beckford. Explain to us, Mr. Beckford, the procedural or the constitutional thing. You.
Okay, good afternoon. The thing is, let me just backtrack a little to Jerome Wade. Jerome Wade was recommended from the technical committee to be fired. When it came to the GFF board at our meeting, we deliberated, didn't fire Mr. Wade, reassigned him to the under 20, under 23. So the basic decision is supposed to be a board decision, not an executive committee decision or whatever, the full board. With this Theodore Whitmore issue now, and it was so sensitive for us, and we were reiterated, it didn't come to the board to deliberate. We as the board only heard, by the way, like everybody else, that a decision was taken to fire Mr. Whitmore. So the board didn't take the decision. According to the president, it was the executive committee or whichever. So right there and then now we bridge, because this is, I think most people have the issue with Jamaica football, the Jamaica national team as a Jamaica FC. It is not a Jamaica football club. It's a Jamaica national team. So certain protocol would pertain at Chelsea, for example, with Abramovich and so. It doesn't pertain here. So the whole aspect of the thing now is that myself as a board member, heard it on the news, just like everybody else said, the GFF had fired the good gentleman.
Okay, so you don't have a problem with the firing. You have a problem with the procedure.
No problem both with the firing and the procedure. So why fire Mr. Whitmore at this point in time?
Okay. So you have a problem with the fact that he was fired, and also with the procedure that not following procedure according to the Constitution, right?
Yes, that's the procedural aspect, okay. And it going leaves a whole heap of things within the future when certain things are supposed to be done the right way again. Now, if you digress from the right way, you're going to continue to do the same thing, and it might lead us to a more serious aspect or anything.
All right. Seeing that the decision has been made, I know there's a meeting on the 18th. Yeah. Is the decision done and over? Are you thinking based on the Constitution? Is there any reversing? Because I'm thinking that it cannot be reversed because it is already done, and the coach should have walked away from my understanding with whatever severance arrangement. So what would be the need to try to reverse the decision if the coach has walked away?
Not sure if there's a reversal of decision or whatever. So if at the end of the day, we have a meeting and the majority of the board say, but we're not comfortable with how the thing was done, then there's a major problem there. If the majority of the board say, listen, do over the thing or do something, whatever, then there's going to be a major problem. But most of the time, I see whether a decision is done correctly or incorrectly, the board goes ahead with it and ratify.
Which is rubber stamping it, which is what you were saying.
Right, rubber stamping, as you could say. I say ratified. So if Saturday come and we have a meeting, more or less what we get the feeling is that one, certain people are peeved maybe at themselves. Two, they might have just belatedly ratify, rubber stamp, whatever it is, the decision, and then we move on.
Right. All right.
But the interesting thing that I said, just to add one, is that basically Mr. Whitmore has just threw in the towel and say, all right, he may accept to know him is no longer there.
Okay.
That is very important.
All right. So my thing now, because I'm glad to hear this, because something can be unconstitutional but still not be illegal. Because
if it is unconstitutional, it is illegal.
No, because not everything that is unconstitutional is illegal in the court of law. Because isn't constitutional law different though? When you talk about because constitutional law has to do with procedures, right? Is it illegal?
There is a driving technique, so you have a road to drive on. Same thing with constitutional law, whether it is football or whatever. And I'll give you an example. Yeah. There was a payment to Michel Platini all long now, and everybody have it say it good, until you find out say the payment was not good, was illegal, and it cost people positions and whatever, threatened with even jail time or so. So is the same thing I'm saying? There are procedures to be done. There are things to be done certain way. That is why we have statutes and all of that sort of thing.
Okay.
So if you abide by the statutes, you will hardly get into problem.
Because the point.
A simple thing again, the statutes that we have, you find out say it is Montego Bay United in the Premier League and not Wadada. So if we go by sentiments, man, we don't send thing with Wadada, we say put Wadada in there. But no, the procedures say so, and we followed it. Okay. So it don't make sense to pick and choose which procedure we follow and which we do not.
All right, here's why I'm asking you, because I know why it was done is different from how it was done. Because why it was done may be right, but how it was done may not be procedurally right.
Yes, why it was done, you know.
No. I said why it was done may be right in the eyes of those who made the decision. They are saying maybe it is based on results. And they said based on the result, this is the best decision to fire the coach. So that's the why. What maybe the issue is that, okay, now you got to the why, and the why is right. How do you get rid of the person, or how do you fire the person? That could be argued, but I don't think what could be argued is why it was done, because based on what has come out in the media, the results are not matching up in terms of the expectation of the technical committee and the executive member.
All right, and I would just add the why you're talking about it, the different reasons we had gotten to say the firing thing. So
okay,
it's a thing where just bear with me a little. If it was done on a level near correctly, that means if you have a virtual meeting with the board members and say, "Bossy, this is the decision and why we took the decision and so and so." Because they do that all the while with the board, you call on for the board ratify certain thing and you discuss and so and so, and then you say, okay, yes, I will vote for that. So when at the end of the day, when it come out, you will know that there's a united front where majority of the board say, yes, fire Tapper Whitmore and replace him with Parla. There would be no problem. The problem is that there is some disconnect where certain things is concerned. Even me myself and whatever, because most of the time me out of the loop. You understand?
Right, so, right.
Just get to, I know, say me is one of the recalcitrants, then we question certain things about the ordinary. Get to us, some people like myself, man. And so well, and so and so and so. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
So and expect say we know rubber stamp your thing.
So they say to you. So on Saturday say, you know what? We should have contacted you, Mr. Beckford, but we didn't.
Yeah.
We are our apologies. In retrospect, we should have done that, but we have made a decision, and you know, and that's it. Where does it go from there?
And then me would just gladly say, yes, I see what you think. So you see where you put yourself now in the model. Because you have taken a decision which is not a decision that is binding. So what are we going to do? You know, so anyway, that is where we are at right now, sir. And if the listeners hearing and so on, so that is just where is that where we question the whole aspect of that particular thing. And it was sensitive just coming off the issue with Jerome Wade. So you see, every issue we have now to deal with, there is some sort of controversy or whatever, like we don't know what we are doing. So with the Jerome Wade thing, it came to the board and the board deliberated and said, all right, we won't be firing the good gentleman. You see the thing now, the recommendations came to fire Jerome. The board didn't fire him, they reassigned him to the under 20, under 23 program, which is good. If the same thing had done with Mr. Whitmore, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am saying that there are different ways, probably sometimes with procedures. You may have 3 different procedures, but they're all constitutional. Right? And I'm saying that maybe I don't know what powers the executive arm has.
Just record the things, the ifs and the buts and the maybes. That's why you have black and white documentation. So the documentation will get rid of all of the speculations and the ifs and the buts and the maybes. So the documentation speaks to how we arrive at hiring a national coach and firing a national coach.
Where can I find those documents? Because I'd love to read them.
Okay. JFF, you can ask them for that.
There is in the constitution of the JFF. There's documented how the national coach should be fired and the
hired and fired and what.
Hired and fired.
Just like how we have the issue where the 11th place team will play the 3rd place team in the Premier League. Everything is documented.
So you have
those. Anyway, I have to run now still, and we speak later. But I really have to run.
All right, Mr. Beckford. Thanks for your time. No, you're busy, man. All right, I appreciate it coming.
Yeah, okay.
All right, people. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I am going to see if I can source the constitutional documents to see if they are so. But I don't listen. Here's the thing. The truth is this, man. It can't be changed. Number one. All right. Why he was fired is why the coach was fired is reasonable. It cannot be questioned. So if you're saying that, okay, we agree that he's supposed to be fired, but how it was done, here is the procedure. And it is not the coach who is raising this issue. It is and this is my problem, people. It is a member of the board. So shouldn't a member of the board says, listen, Mr. President, you know that I would have appreciated you calling me beforehand to talk to me about this matter. And that is it. And it done. And it done. Why now have this big... I'm telling you, the people, that disunity is real. You understand me? Yeah, man. Big up Dre anyway, though. Yeah, man. You understand me? So it just seemed to me... please, Mannings, that's where you have to start. Which is what? Get the document, not true. I think we need Coach Minzy. I'm challenging the rest of vloggers. Let's find the constitutional document. I wonder where we can get it. That's what I'm saying, because I have gone through some documentation. I've never seen it. So I would love to get a hold of this. I can go through it and see where this whole thing is. I'm not under... Yeah, so I don't know. Yes, Coach Mini. So we need to find that. If somebody can find it and send it to me, but I'm going to make some calls and see if I can figure it out, because it is not... I am thinking that, man, the decision has been made. If a procedure wasn't followed, then, like, if my... for example, if the CEO for my company fires one of my line staff and I'm a supervisor, all right, all I would do, is call the CEO and say, sir, I realize that you have relieved Claudine of her job. And based on my understanding, this is what. But I am not now going to, like I'm against the CEO as a supervisor. And CC says it, that if I pay you, but they're going to tell that there is no pay. So this is the problem with the football. This is the problem with the football. The, the one still wool and ashes. This is the problem with the football. Ay boy. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and get to the. I'm going to try to find that document. I should have had Mr. Speid. He did not come on, but after my Arsenal game, I'm going to get him because I need to find out where in the Constitution it says that the decision to hire or fire the coach lies with not just the executive arm and the technical committee's recommendation, but all the board members. That is what I need to find out. You understand me? So people, here's the thing. We have to hear so we can understand. I don't mind hearing, diverse views so I can come to proper conclusions. So when I speak based on that. It's not no guest speller maybe. Right? So but it's an hour. Like I said, I'm very sorry that I'm gonna have to cut this stream because I've been waiting on Mr. Speid, who he and I should have been on the stream together. He can answer some stuff from there, from the board's perspective, the technical committee perspective. Is not here. I'm going to try and reach out to him so that at the end of the Arsenal game, I can have him on for him to give us some perspective in terms of the Constitution to see if it is in alignment with what Mr. Beckford just shared. Oh, Coach Minzy is saying that it is the board for true. Yeah, that is the thing, Dre. That's what I'm saying. It could have been handled behind the door. Yeah, see, hold on a sec. All right, people have Coach Minzy here and here. Go ahead, Coach Minzy.
You know, I say, Mannings,
Yeah.
I really the board, based on what I did read from the Constitution. So the technical committee, they make the recommendation.
Yeah.
And that recommendation has to be ratified by the board of directors or board of governors, as they call it. One of that.
Okay.
So yes, it has to go to the board to be ratified. So any recommendation is made, has to go to the board.
Oh.
So the board, the technical committee is not the what do you call it now? The last.
The decision, like the final decision, right?
Right.
Okay.
They made the recommendation, and the board deliberate on the recommendation if they should accept it or overturn it. Remember, in time past, that wasn't set up, I think Captain Horace Burrell would just call somebody and fire them. 0-100 hours.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Same thing up. Yeah.
So it's a different setup, or they're probably working with the setup that was established from a long time. Captain probably overstepped that, and he probably never have all of them set up.
Okay.
So I really the board made the decision for you.
So really, I mean, though why the fire may be right, the procedure could be wrong.
Absolutely.
And unless, like I'm saying, that there is more than one way to do it in the Constitution. So that's
the interpretation of the rule.
Yeah,
if Captain used to do it that way, would he be constitutionally right? But at the end of the day, him over as the leader, him overpowering the Constitution.
That's what I'm wondering, because
he overpower the Constitution?
What this would sound like is because what this would say is that the Constitution was changed, or then Captain Burrell would have been acting unconstitutional in the past, unless the whole rule of the thing has been changed, Or
they probably didn't have any technical committee in his time, which should have been there, but they never have any.
Yeah, boy, I don't like I said that it does it like I agree with Dre in the weather sports, He was saying that it could have been handled behind the scene because there's nothing it not going to change. Like it will not be reversed. And I think the board members
yeah,
know that.
I agree. I agree it won't be changed because and you made a comment, Manins, about the CEO and the probably line manager or middle manager.
Yeah.
That individual have a problem. Say it to the CEO rather than go to CBM or TVJ go make a news item out of it.
There, that is the issue.
So that individual, even if he has the correct information in the right, based on the way it is done as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but coach, I'm so delighted that you call on a day when McGrath is really down as well.
Yeah, man. We have to just take leaks and come back, you know?
Yeah,
as
man.
we do as one night, we create history. 2 years in a row, qualified for the second round. That has never happened in the history of the school. So we have built a little nice program, you know?
Okay. Well, yeah, man. Keep putting into work and thank you again.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself.
All right, coach. Bless up, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, people, there you have it. So a little bit more explanation from Coach Minzy right there. And like I said, then we're going to hear from Mr. Speid later, as to what is happening. And then you can check out Dre Anyweather because he did a video on this as well. So listen. Want to say a big thank you to you. Type of supporters are prevalent in the local media, makes it easier for certain narrative to be pushed. At the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, the thing is that Tapper will not be coaching the team again. That is not going to change. You understand me? We just want to. I think the matter need to be put to rest, but it seems like there could be other issues, and that is what we're seeking to clarify in terms of a legal standpoint. And so Dre Anyweather says, "Damn it, control him jumping ahead in case any legality Tapper may do." Okay, so um, So, listen, people. Well, thank you for sticking and staying with us. Like I said, we have a couple more things to do for the day. But won't be long. I think also there's a big interview over on the coaches desk this evening. I think Rene Simoes, I think, should be over there. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the notification yet, but you can stay tuned and check out that and listen up for that. But we have something big that is going to come up right before that today. So again, be safe. Seek to add value to someone's life. The mighty Arsenal are about to, put a couple of nails in the coffin of the West Ham team. And yeah, and there's also a Clarendon College versus Manchester High School game that is going on. I love schoolboy football because of the rivalry between the schools, and so I'm going to do that. I'm making a position that will have a long explanation of why the GFF is failing us and why certain people must go uh, and post on social media. Um, let me take a couple more. Sounds like he would have no issue reassigning the former coach. It sounded that way, but I think he knows that it is not possible. Oh, it's a petition, he said. Got that one wrong. All right, thank you, Claudine. Fresh God. Michael, all of you are here early. Thank you so much for staying. Please hit the like button before you go. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We are going to get more information on this so you can all know what is happening. We'll try to see if we can get a couple more board members. I'm going to try and make a couple of calls as well. So when I come back on, hopefully I can get a couple more board members. Going to see if we can get like a Wayne Shaw from Kasafa to come and speak on the matter. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day and looking forward to seeing you again.